The first thing they tell you about standing before an alien queen is not to meet her eyes. The second thing they tell you is that if she asks a question, you answer honestly because lying to her kind is worse than treason. Unfortunately, no one ever told me what to do when the truth might start a war. I stood alone in the crystalline hall of the Varelian throne, surrounded by towering spires of living stone that pulsed faintly with bioluminescent veins. The air vibrated with a low hum, part atmosphere control, part warning. Every step I took echoed, magnified by the sheer scale of the chamber. At the far end, seated upon a throne grown, not built, from the same luminous crystal, was Queen Zetheri of the Varelian Concord. She was enormous. Even seated, she towered over her attendants, her segmented exoskeletal form gleaming like polished obsidian threaded with gold. Her 4 eyes regarded me with unsettling calm, each pupil adjusting independently, focusing, measuring. I was Human Liaison Commander Elias Rowe, representing Earth and its fledgling alliance with the Concord. I had survived 3 years of diplomacy, 2 assassination attempts, and 1 near-planetary incident involving a mistranslated proverb. None of that prepared me for this moment. The Queen's voice reverberated directly inside my skull. Human, you have spent considerable time with my daughter. My heart sank. Yes, Your Majesty, I replied, keeping my gaze fixed on the floor, just as protocol demanded. You were assigned as her cultural exchange guardian during her observational visit to your homeworld. Yes. You were responsible for her safety. Yes, I said again, my mouth dry. The Queen leaned forward, the crystal throne shifting beneath her weight. Then tell me, she said, why she returned changed. The hall fell silent. This was it. The moment I had dreaded since Princess Celira stepped off the human shuttle 6 months ago, her iridescent wings folded tight, her posture subtly different, her once rigid demeanor softened in ways no Varelian elder could ignore. They noticed everything. And now the Queen wanted answers. When Celira arrived on Earth, she was 16 by Varelian standards, just shy of adulthood. To her people, that meant she was to observe, learn, and judge whether humanity was worthy of deeper integration into galactic society. To us, it meant babysitting an alien princess who could bench press a tank and whose emotional maturity was complicated. She was brilliant, curious, and utterly baffled by humans. Why do you consume poisons for recreation? She asked me once, watching a group of college students drink beer on a city street. Because we're idiots, I replied. She considered that seriously. Your species is honest about its flaws. That is refreshing. Over weeks, I became her primary guide, explaining music, humor, art, and the strange human habit of forming emotional bonds with inanimate objects. She watched sunsets with rapt attention, listened to music like it was a religious experience, and spent hours in museums absorbing humanity's messy, violent, beautiful history. But there were moments, quiet moments, that stayed with me. Like the night she asked why humans fought wars against themselves. Because we're afraid, I said. And sometimes fear makes us cruel. She folded her wings closer, her voice softer. Does that ever change? Sometimes, I said, when someone gives us a reason to be better. She looked at me for a long time after that. You hesitate, Queen Zetheri said now, her mental voice sharp. That suggests guilt. I swallowed. It suggests responsibility. A ripple passed through the assembled Varelian nobles, telepathic murmurs, buzzing like distant thunder. Explain, the Queen commanded. I straightened. HFY or not, this was going to hurt. Your daughter did not simply observe humanity, I said carefully. She engaged with it. She asked questions no one had ever asked her before. She challenged our flaws and our strengths. The queen's eyes narrowed. That was her purpose. Yes, I said. But what none of us anticipated was that humanity would change her in return. Silence. I continued. Princess Sailira arrived believing strength was dominance, order was control, and worth was measured by conquest. She left understanding something else. Which is, that strength can be restrained, I said. That compassion is not weakness. And that loyalty isn't demanded, it's earned. A sharp psychic pressure pressed against my mind. You speak like someone defending an influence, the queen said. I took a breath. The incident happened 3 months into Sailira's stay. A human city was hit by a massive power failure during a winter storm. Millions without heat. Emergency systems overwhelmed. Sailira watched the news feeds in silence. Your people will perish, she said flatly. Some might, I admitted. Unless we help each other. She didn't understand that at first. Then she saw it. Neighbors breaking into stores, not to steal, but to distribute food. People opening their homes to strangers. Firefighters working until they collapsed. Doctors refusing to leave hospitals for days. She insisted on going out there. Protocol screamed no. Security screamed louder.
But she went anyway.
She lifted debris, stabilized collapsed structures, powered entire shelters with her bioelectric field. She worked alongside humans, not above them. And when a child, barely 6, wrapped frozen fingers around her clawed hand and whispered, "Thank you," something inside her shifted. Later that night, she asked me something I'll never forget. Why would they risk themselves for those they do not know? I answered honestly, because we believe every life has value, even when it's inconvenient. She was quiet for a long time. I was taught value must be proven, she said. Humans disagree, I replied. That was the beginning. My daughter returned refusing ceremonial combat, the queen said now, her voice dangerously calm. She questioned conquest doctrines. She challenged elder decrees. I nodded, because she learned another way exists. A human way, the queen snapped. Yes, I said. And that scares you. The psychic pressure intensified. You presume much, human. I do, I said, meeting her gaze for the first time. Because I've seen what your people value, strength, honor, survival. Humanity values those too. But we learned something else along the way. Which is that the future isn't built by those who dominate, I said. It's built by those who protect. The murmurs grew louder. You have influenced my daughter beyond mandate, the queen said. That is a crime. I know, I said quietly. And I accept responsibility. A pause. Then, is that all you confess? My chest tightened. No. It wasn't. There's more, I said. The queen leaned back. Proceed. I swallowed hard. Princess Sailira asked me. I said, what it meant to choose one's own path. I told her humans believe autonomy is sacred, even when the choice is difficult. The queen's eyes widened slightly. And then, I continued, she chose. The hall went dead silent. Chose what? The queen demanded. She chose not to be a weapon, I said. Not to be a symbol. She chose to be herself. A psychic shockwave rippled through the chamber. You encouraged rebellion, the queen roared. No, I said firmly. I encouraged agency. The doors behind me opened.